ran on Thor. So you're talking about legendary moments. Whew.
Whoa. And what
I'm
is
about, I'm
going
about to.
Dude, we are live right now. So, yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Series X podcast. And guys, this is a very, very special episode. I actually had to refrain my hands from beating on the desk because I knew it. I knew the mic would pick it up, but I am really, really excited for tonight's show. It is the first time ever on this podcast, and yes, we are a brand new podcast, but the first time ever that we are taking special guests, and our special guests have taken an oath in the background because on the Series X podcast, we do nothing but talk about Xbox. There is no other talk about other platforms on the show or in the chat. And shout out to my brother Crispy Bomb in the chat, who already let it be known. He put out the whole attention. You know, this is what's going on with this show. No talk about other platforms. We are here to strictly talk about Xbox, whether it is good, whether it is bad, whether it is hype. You know, it's all about Xbox. So, guys, I am really excited. You know, I'm going to start when it comes to the introductions. I hope my partner in crime doesn't mind, but I think I'm going to start in with the special guests, and then I'm going to bookend with my partner for this show. So, first off, I want to welcome this man. He is a part of the gaming community, and he is an important part out there on Twitter, out there on Xbox Live, man. He does so many good things for the community. Not only that, he puts out on Twitter kind of like inspirational, knowledgeable little videos to kind of help people get through the day if they're having hard times and stuff. But a really integral part of this community, and I am happy, absolutely happy to have him as one of the first ever guests. My brother Yobi Dren, what is up, bro?
Mr. Peace, Love, Life Itself. What is going on, chat? Bot and Jimmy, thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it. Man, I'm just happy to be here. And in the words of what you said earlier about Crispy laid his murder game down like that's how we gotta do it. Only Xbox podcast.
Oh, dude,
only.
He is brutal. Yo, he will get to it in the chat, man. Dude, I can't keep up. Me and Jamie, sometimes we had a hard time, especially the first like couple episodes. We had a hard time keeping up. Crispy came in and just wiped the slate clean. He's like, "No, I got all this, yo."
No. Crispy came in. He's like, "Oh, any other mods here? Yeah, bye." He's like, "Bye, I got this."
Well, Yobi, I mean, you know, not for anything, but from what you know, we talk, you know, DM stuff like that, and dude, it would have been a dishonor if I didn't have you on the first episode with the special guest, because you know, let's be real. You're like, dude, I better be like the first special guest on that show, right? Am I wrong?
Negativo. I said, yo, bot, whenever you allow guests, I would be honored to be the first guest on Series S podcast. Now, if I say it better be, that sounds like I'm making the demands. You know, we don't make demands right here. It's all peace of life.
Oh, I got you, brother. I got you. My bad. I didn't want to. My bad for putting that foot out there. But you know, it is good to have you on, bro. I can't wait to get into these topics. I know there's one topic that me and our other special guests are gonna sit back and let you and Jamie just kind of gush over for like, you know, however long you're gonna gush over. So.
I mean, we're not gonna say it yet, but yeah, when we get to that topic, you and Rand just go sit up in the penthouse. Yeah, everything is in the house. Just order what you want.
Yeah, and speaking of that name, Rand, guys, it is my pleasure to welcome that man who has 7 digits in his gamer score, and he is the only man to hit 1 million gamer score at E3. Yes,
Jesus, wow.
It is Rand Al Thor. What is up, brother?
What's going on, Xbot, Yobi, Jamie? I know Jamie's happy. And Mass Effect Remaster finally announced.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for having me, bro. I you know, you asked me I think earlier in the week if I would come on, and of course, you know, I'm always down. I'm always supporting, you know, other content creators here on YouTube. I watched your show last week when you shouted me out. So, you know, when you asked me to be on, I was like, damn right. And then, you know, the Xbox 2, we ran into some difficulties, and I actually moved it early so I could still be do your show on.
But it still turned out good though.
Yeah. So I'm super glad to be here to talk with you guys. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk. Well, I can't even mention. I was gonna make a joke about other platforms, but I can't do that. It's like, so what do we talk about on the Series X podcast? We talk about
will be on you like white on rice, my man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jamie mentioned a console that shouldn't be named last week, and like I figured if he can mention something, then so could I.
All right,
one and done.
We still have to get kind of like everything kind of like set when it comes to special guests. I don't know if we'll give you guys leeway on one before we have to like clamp down or but Rand, I do honestly have to say, man, because you are doing a marathon right now. I was in the chat, checking out Xbox 2. One of my absolute favorite podcasts that is not on this channel here, which I was letting you know in the background. But dude, I definitely appreciate it, man. When you got to go from one show right to another, I know how difficult that can be.
Yeah, hey, I'm not hosting this show, bro, so it's all on you. I don't got to worry about topics or flow or anything.
He's sitting back with a mixed
drink with a fancy I'm just umbrella. Sitting back with my Propel strawberry lemonade water, just thinking about the Series X I have over in my entertainment center that I'm not playing right now because of you.
Because of me.
So, yeah.
Well, because of me and the next person I am about to introduce. Yeah, guys, it is my partner in crime, one of the most patient people I have ever done a YouTube project with in my life. On YouTube, he's known as the Elusive Gamer. If you know him on Twitter, you know him as Jamie Moran. What is going on, brother?
Hey everyone, awesome to be here, and we have awesome guests for the first time, and it's been a good week, and we have a good week ahead, and I mean, I'll be lying if I said I haven't had a smile on my face since yesterday. Because
of course,
despite the fact I knew that it was coming, I like the fact that I don't have to be questioned about it every 5 seconds on Twitter. So it's good times ahead.
Well, Jamie, you said once it's announced, then you're not going to talk about it anymore on Twitter, right? Like that.
That's not happening.
Brother, I am excited for you, and it's something we are going to go into. So, shout out to everybody in the chat. It is good to see everybody. Before we get into it, if you like what you're hearing right now, if you like the visuals, all that good stuff, hit that thumbs up button. Share this show out on your favorite social media. Let other Xbox gamers know that we are here, we are live, and we are only talking about Xbox. No other platforms. We will talk about multi-platform games, but at the end of the day, when it comes to the platform, it is all about Xbox here. So, let's get a bunch of Xbox gamers in here. And I did hit my desk. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. But let's get into the first subject. And we're gonna dive in. We're gonna hit the deep end first because the Series X and Series S reviews are out, and it seems like a lot of people have taken these reviews in very different ways. Now, I want to say that the way I am taking these reviews, because there is a huge hole when it comes to Xbox with Series S and Series X in terms of the launch. It is a hole that everybody knows about, and that is there is no big first-party game coming out with the launch of these systems. Now, with that being said, from the reviews I saw, everybody has talked about that, but then I've seen a bunch of really, really favorable things, a bunch of compliments in terms of the hardware and what's going on in terms of it, like its performance, maintaining heat, all sorts of good stuff on this. So let me go to Yobi on this first. Now, Yobi, have you watched the reviews for the Series X and the Series S? Have you taken time out and checked out what like these YouTubers and big gaming media have said about these systems?
I took a time out, even at work, to watch. I watched even dude. It was so slow that it's not even funny. Even yesterday, but I move like lightning, so I can do that. Anyway, I watch Randolph Store's breakdown of it.
Oh, then you watched pretty much the best one out there, yeah. I'm saying.
I mean, I had to. Like See, the thing about Randolph, he's always been honest. He's always been honest. He don't try to push no BS narrative how all these other dudes do. So I watched Randolph Thor's breakdown for like 3-4 times back to back, and I was amazed. I was really amazed, and I can't wait to get an Xbox. And also, he kept it honest. He talked about things he did like.
Mhm.
He talked about things he didn't like, but as he also mentioned that it's because it's not officially out yet, so it's most likely it's going to be a day one patch. And from what I heard with his experience with Dirt 5, it wasn't really a positive one, but
Yeah, Dirt
as you
5 was
can,
definitely not ready when I played it. I'll
right,
just say that.
of course, yeah, of course, it's like you said, it's like it's the game is not even officially out yet, so most likely day one patch is just coming.
Hold on,
Um,
Crispy. I'm
go
not
ahead,
kissing
go ahead.
anybody's feet, brother. Yo, that's
Stop
Yobi
kissing his feet,
talking.
but
That's
that's for us
Yobi
coming
talking,
for.
man. Yo, I
This
was
me, Crispy. What you mean?
Yo, you know what's funny? Yobi, you know what was funny when Rand
Talk to me.
said yes. What I thought he was gonna say is first I gotta play him in Halo because that is something that has gone on
Oh
between
God.
us for like a couple years now. It just seems like whenever I'm ready to play Halo, he's not, and then vice versa, and we never got together. So I thought that was gonna be a stipulation for him to come on. So that didn't happen, by the way. But Yobi,
No,
what?
it didn't. But when we did play Halo, I did beat you.
No, did you? Hold on.
Ooh.
How long, dude? I don't
I
even.
don't know. It's been forever. I don't know who won.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
have
don't
to
know.
get
I don't
back
know what
into that,
happened.
bro. But now, you got superior hardware over me. It's an unfair advantage, and I'm not sure if I want to take that. But just real quick, Yobi, out of the things that you heard from the reviews for the Series X, Series S,
Mhm.
what are some of your high points? What are some of your low points? And do you think that the reviews pretty much got kind of like your feeling of this Xbox generation coming? Like, did they hit what you were thinking this launch is gonna be like?
Yes, bro. Like the load times. That is a high selling point for me because everybody on this panel and everybody in the chat know those load times for Grand Theft Auto, for Red Dead Redemption. I mean,
Destiny
Jesus
2.
Christ, dude, it's like you're waiting a year
Mm-hmm.
for the damn game to get into a damn match, let alone the story mode. So it's like that was a very high selling point for me. The portable the SSD that you have to buy
Mm-hmm.
for the architecture, that's a selling point for me because, like I said, you always want to for your games to load fast, and everybody was touting the whole resume thing. Crit resume is dope. I mean, it's not something I use because I don't want to be one of those that trying to play 5 damn games at one time. I want to focus on that one game. And then once I'm focused on that one game,
Yobi
I'm
wants
done,
to
and now I'll
focus and
jump to
get
the
mad
next
at
one.
one game at a time, not 5.
Exactly. Like, listen, I told you, and I'm gonna tell you guys. They announced Mass Effect. Screw every game that's coming out this year and next year. I don't care. You thought I did 10,000 hours before. Watch what I do.
Wow.
Watch what I do with the next one. But yeah, Series X. Can't wait. I hope I get to pick it up day one. If not, then Bob's your uncle.
I got you, bro. I got you. Yeah, so now I'm gonna go over to Rand. And Rand, the funny thing about this whole thing, of course, Yobi was talking about your video with the Series X. He didn't really say too much about reviews when it came to the Series S as well. And we do have
I didn't even check on the Series S reviews yet, but continue.
See? We do have, quite a few topics when it comes to the Series S because some things absolutely astonished me in recent news when it came to that platform. But Rand, if you want to kind of just jump into, I know you made, a couple videos on this and whatnot, but do you think you could jump into kind of like your thoughts on the Series X and if you've watched some of the Series S reviews as well? I really want to hear your take on the kind of like the entry level system that going into this next generation as well, bro.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I said right away in my review that the Series X is the best gaming hardware Microsoft's ever built, like hands down. Like nothing really compares to it. Like the build quality. Like when you get the system and you unbox it, you'll see what I'm talking about. When you hold it, it feels very much like a very premium system. And, it's really easy to set up. You plug in what you want, external drives or whatever, and you sign in. And there's an update, and it's pretty fast. Just make sure you guys remember what your email and your password is for your account, because you're going to
I
need
do.
that. You know, you're going to have to sign in. So setup is fast, and you know, it's kind of just like the Xbox One right now. It's the same dashboard, although on the Series X and S, it does have those dynamic themes in the background.
Ooh,
Right now, I've only been
multiple?
able... What?
There's multiple themes?
Well, so there are. It's just that I haven't been... Like, right now, I can't choose... Like, there's an option to choose dynamic backgrounds, but they don't, like, let you go into it. But I know for a fact there's about, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different dynamic backgrounds you can choose. So I would imagine when a patch comes out or an update comes out for the system, you'll be able to, you know, choose whatever dynamic themes they have, right? But yeah, it's very similar to the Xbox One in that regard. Like, you'll feel right at home with the user interface and how everything works. You know, you plug in your drives, and, you know, the system will start noticing that you have, like, for instance, Gears 5. It has an Xbox Series X upgrade. And then all of a sudden you'll start seeing, like, you know, you'll pop up in your queue of games upgrading. Now, for me, maybe it's going to be different for you, but, like, for me, like, the Gears 5 upgrade didn't overwrite the game. It didn't overwrite the Gears 5 that was on my external. It actually downloaded a new copy to the internal drive. I was kind of told... I mentioned that in my review, that it was weird because all of a sudden I had 2 versions of almost every Series X enhanced game. Like, I had 2 versions of Yakuza and 2 versions of Gears Tactics, and I was just like, maybe this is pre-release, maybe it's not. And I think I was told it was pre-release, that's not the case. However, it will pop up like something for Gears 5 where it'll be like, this game can only be played on the internal, but you can store it on an external drive. So they're very much front and center.
What a
if you're
novel
trying
concept right there, to be able to store it on an external.
Yeah, be able to store it on,
weird.
because some of the file sizes are big. I think Gears is around 70 gigs. I think Forza Horizon 4 is around 90. I mean, we hear Call of Duty is going to be about 130 gigs.
Dude, why is Call of
Dirt
Duty
5
so
was
big,
about
man?
70.
Why I don't understand why Call of Duty is such a big game, though. To be
I don't know.
honest with you.
Those 4K textures. So it does. So management of your SSD is going to be key, because with 10 games installed on my SSD, the internal, it's 55% full. I only have like 380 gigs left of space. And I do have a 1 terabyte SSD external plugged in, as well as a 4 terabyte external. So if you don't want to buy the expansion, which is a lot of money, $220.
It's a pretty penny, bro.
Just make sure, you use your externals and kind of get used to the shuttling games back and forth. So I timed it for Sea of Thieves, which is interesting because both Sea of Thieves and Ori can be played on the internal or the external. But all the other Series X games like Gears and Forza and Gears Tactics can only be played from the internal. So I guess it depends on the games themselves. But Sea of Thieves and Ori can be played on any like hard drive.
Okay.
But so Sea of Thieves is 46 gigabytes of hard drive space. Okay. To transfer it from my 4 terabyte hard drive to the internal took about 8.5 minutes. But transferring it from my 1 terabyte SSD to the internal SSD took about 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
So, like, that kind of gives you an idea of how fast this system is. And trust me, it is incredibly fast. The dashboard, super smooth and responsive. You can get around that without any of the hiccups that the Xbox One X dashboard has. I don't really use quick resume a lot, and it was very buggy when I was testing the system. And I got an email from Microsoft saying that there are some games that it was disabled for, that there was a bug, but those will be, patched. So basically, when you get the console, hopefully quick resume works with every title. Hopefully. Because it was weird, because it would work with Gears 5 for a couple days, and then it wouldn't work with Gears 5 anymore. And the same with like Forza Horizon 4. So, like when you go from a cold boot bot, like when you turn that system on, and from a very cold boot, it's 10 seconds, bro, 12 seconds, instead of like a minute, whatever it is on the One X. But but like when it comes to how fast the system is, my favorite thing to do is, like, if you're playing the night before, Like I was playing like Ori's, for example, right?
Mhm.
And you're at a spot. You know what? You just kind of go back to the home screen. You don't quit out of the game. Turn your system off. And if you have your system on instant on, it's honestly like instant. So I timed it. So when you sit down, turn your TV on, grab the controller, and hit that Xbox button on the controller, the dashboard is on your screen within 2 seconds, right?
Nice.
2 seconds, the dashboard's there. And if you click on Ori 2 or whatever game you were playing last, because it's suspended, you click on it, and you don't got to go through the quick resume thing. It literally will put you right where you were the night before. So within 7 seconds total, from turning on the controller and pressing the button on the game tile, you're back where you were the night before within 7 seconds.
That's insane, dude.
And like you don't got to watch like
What?
boot up screens. You don't got to pick saves. It's literally right where you left off the night before. And it's such a cool feature, bot. Like, because I was so used to quitting out of every single game I played on the Xbox One X because there were problems with suspend and stuff like that, where it would be memory leaks. Now there's none of that. Now it's like I get on, I turn the system on, and I'm playing my game like just that fast. And if you're somebody who plays a bunch of different games, you can use them all in quick resume and jump to the next one. So like the only time you have to see that splash screen or hey, what engine did the game run on, or like what studios you made it, and then seeing that like main menu and picking a save and stuff. The only time you got to do that is the one time that like first time you play the game. Because other than that, you can either suspend everything or you can quick resume and skip it all. So speed is the name of the game with the Series X. And the back and pat's great. Like I mentioned in my video, like you have games like
it's a mainstay. Like it is a huge factor with with what's going on with Halo Infinite getting kind of like getting delayed and stuff like that. The back compat. I'm actually really happy that they put in so much attention and detail to the back compat, because there is going to be third party, there's going to be second party or timed exclusive deals kind of like moving into 2021, but going back and playing Gears with those enhancements, seeing the Sea of Thieves, Ori 2, stuff like that. I mean, their attention to that, man, I'm really happy that they did that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, back compat's great. Like something like Star Wars or Sekiro run at like 60 frames as close as they can. Might be some dips here or there. Games like Titanfall 2 I went back to and it looks phenomenal. Quantum Break I went back to because I haven't played Quantum Break since 2016. So, and I remember it maybe not looking the best, but it was upgraded for the Xbox One X, and I replayed it and I was just like, man, this game looks really good now. And then there's auto HDR, which is a really underrated feature. Don't sleep on auto HDR. Like any sort of HDR implementation, it's game by game basis. You played games where like the HDR is really not that good, but then you played games like Sea of Thieves where the HDR is the best you've ever seen, right?
Gears 5 as well.
Gears 5's HDR is really good. I loaded up like Batman Arkham Return to Arkham City, and that game looks so much better with auto HDR on now. Like all the colors are vibrant, because it's the dark game and it has the vibrant colors. So even something like Sunset Overdrive,
would don't
look
do
better.
That to me. Don't do that.
So,
to me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, so back compat is great. It's got the auto HDR. Games run better. They look better than before. The new controller with the share button. I like the new controller. It's got shorter triggers. It's got a better bumper. They added the share button, which works like all the time. It's like you have 3 different settings. You can press it for a screenshot. You can press and hold it to record the last, whether it's 30 seconds, minute, or 2 minutes, depending on your resolution settings. Or you can press and hold it to start or end a recording. And in the Xbox Accessories app, you can change it. So right now I have it set to press once for a screenshot and then press and hold to start and stop a recording. And it's just like the regular game DVR. You can record at 720p, you can record at 1080p, or you can record at 4K. Depending on what resolution you want. I recorded 4K because I record to a USB stick, and when you record to a USB stick, does it have to be
external for 4K?
No, you can capture internally on 4K, but you're very limited. It's like 30 seconds max.
Oh, damn!
Because it really depends. Like 4K, you can capture like the last 30 seconds or up to 30 seconds. 1080p, I think, is like a minute, and 720p is like 3 minutes. But if you plug in a USB, you can record to up to an hour at any of the resolutions. So like I basically have a USB stick plugged in all the time, and I recorded like an hour of Gears Tactics and in 4K and brought it over to my PC. So the game DVR works pretty much very similar to how it is on the Xbox One right now. The controller is a little bit. I feel it with the reduced latency, the dynamic latency input. It does feel more responsive.
See, dude, exactly like this, because a lot of people talk about when it comes to the controller, right? And I know like firmware update. I think you can. You're like if you're using like the Elite Series 2 or something like that. Yeah, they'll have an update to kind of bring that latency technology into the existing controllers as well. But with them kind of like not really doing anything different, in terms of the controller, does that latency that the bringing it down to the most minimal latency, is it really that much of a change in comparison to like the One X? Well,
I think it is, because I noticed like Gears was more responsive when I played, and Dirt and Forza, like it seemed more responsive when I was taking turns and drifting. And I will say, like I mentioned this in my review, but like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a game that you need to parry, and you have a short window of frames to hit left bumper to parry, right? And I found it very inconsistent on the Xbox One X, and maybe that was due to the fluctuating frame rate. But now, because of the power of the Series X, that game runs at 60 frames, and with the reduced latency time between the controller and the console, and then the console and the TV, I like parry every single time. It's like so much easier, and I think that is helped by the reduced latency on the controller, as well as like now that the game's running at 60 frames. So I think games they'll just be more responsive. Like I think they've showed graphs of how Gears 5, how they've reduced the latency between the One X version of the game and the Series X version of the game, and you can actually feel it when you play. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, well, I don't know. Like I'm not Digital Foundry, right? Like I couldn't play a game and be like, yeah, this is native 4K, and then someone says it's dynamic 4K.
And the cool thing about it, and I know you said this in your videos as well, but the cool thing about it is, Digital Foundry is Digital Foundry. And NXG. You got people who do go into the technical side, but they're, when you look at the community, a lot of people just want to hear a gamer's perspective about like these new things coming out, and I think, Rand, that's what you do. You give an awesome gamer's perspective of it. You're not like just talking numbers and stuff like that, but you're putting in that emotion that a gamer would have for certain things and stuff. And I think that's where you shine, brother, when you come out with your content and stuff like that. So with that being said, I do want to get Jamie in here as well, because I want to hear what he thinks about the reviews, and then we're going to get into it even deeper, because there was some awesome news about the Series S, some gameplay reveal that I got completely hyped about. And for people who don't know, when it comes to money, Xbox doesn't have a lot right now. So like I'm looking at the Series S in terms of my first kind of like step into the next gen for Xbox, and some of the information that I saw and heard today has really, really got me excited. But my partner,
and also, but before you start with Jimmy, I just want to say that I left out something from my review, but we'll get into that later.
Okay, all right, brother. We'll get into that whenever you want, bro. Like this is as much. Okay, all right. Yo, Jamie. Dude, I know you have had to check out at least the Series X reviews. So I want to know what you got from those reviews. Again, from what I saw, and a lot of people are taking these reviews in different ways. They're saying that, a lot of people are going on the low rung of the ladder and just talking about that that hole that everybody has kind of been, we've all faced it. We all said this, I think we're in kind of like unprecedented waters here in terms of like no first party game being ready at launch for these systems. But I think there was a lot of good stuff that was said about the system. But Jamie, what was your opinion on the Series X reviews, and I got to ask you if you also checked out the Series S reviews as well.
Yeah, I've checked out both, and I just put it out there. The Xbox 360 is my favorite console of all time. All the games and that, and it was an awesome generation. So, like, looking at this new generation, I was really looking forward to how the whole backwards compatibility thing is going to work. So, when I'm hearing about the load times, is especially good because, again, I go back to games all the time. So, be it a last generation game with Final Fantasy 11, or should I say Final Fantasy 15, that thing's going to load up in 11 seconds. And that blew my mind. And all of us this generation have played open world games where you have enough time to watch Titanic when it loads. I'm not talking about Metro Exodus, but like too many open world games, even 360 games, take way too long to load. Like, I should not be able to put the kettle on, drink a cup of tea while Red Dead's loading. That shouldn't be a thing. But it looks like that's not going to be an issue. And of course, the big elephant in the room is the whole, no big first-party games day one. That goes without saying. We've known about Halo for a while, and we know that Microsoft's been leaning on, wanting to have Halo as like the big showpiece thing.
You can tell by the box of the Series X that they were depending on Halo.
I mean, like the dude, Master Chief, is on the bloody box. It's like it goes without saying. Like, of course, would it be lovely to have Halo day one? Absolutely. But hey, I'd rather have a game pushed off to have a better product. But when it comes to the Xbox hardware reviews, I'm impressed because, again, like the One X, solid piece of tech. It does what it's meant to do. It does 4K gaming. Doesn't do 60 frames whenever you want it. But this new box, I'm seeing higher frames. I'm seeing ray tracing. And look, I have seen some, bad takes of the whole ray tracing thing where, those things can be fixed in patches. But hey, from a ray tracing console I'm going to get for £352, I'm impressed. And, honestly, I think, like, it's a solid console because, again, load times. Like, I know going into this generation, all we've heard about is SSD load times. And at the end of the day, we do see a lot of load screens, right? That's what we do when we start a game. But this new generation, it's just going to be less time loading and more time playing. And to me, that's an awesome thing. One of the things I've seen in some reviews is that Gears Tactics, like, I've seen Series X gameplay of Gears Tactics, and if people have been following me on Twitter for a while, I wanted this game 5 years ago. I wanted a Gears of War style XCOM game, and this is it. And like, people saying no big game. This is my big game. I've been waiting for Gears Tactics for 5 years, like before it was bloody announced.
And you're not a PC gamer either, right, Jamie? So like,
no,
this is coming on like how you prefer to play games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like gaming on PC. It's just not for me. And I do game occasionally on my new PC, but like RTS games, you literally can't, play on console, so with no option. But like Gears Tactics, I knew was coming to console, and it looks bloody fantastic. When it comes to the S, though, you have to look at it like this. Like, this costs less than half than what some new GPUs cost, and it's capable of doing ray tracing. Like, I've seen Watch Dogs footage today, and that thing looks glorious.
Oh my god!
Like you have to think about it like this. Like, a few years ago, people thought that we would never see real-time ray tracing because it was only in things like Pixar movies, and now we have it in a $250, or should I say, $299 console. Like, that blows my mind.
Jamie, use dollars. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I do YouTube. I have to speak American,
I gotta speak it.
but it's like. It's impressive that, the console tech has came this far, and, I see people have been mentioning about heat, and like the back of a console is meant to get warm. If it doesn't, I'd be concerned that if it's even on or not, You're not meant to roast hot dogs on the back of the thing either, but, we all learn. But yeah, I'm impressed with the hardware. I'm impressed with the software. I am hoping down the line we do see stuff like more streaming options and stuff, but out of the box, it seems like a solid product. And, the games, like, I like the look of Dirt 5, and I know that was an earlier build that we saw, but some of the developers have said stuff on that, like how it's, there's newer builds going out. And hey, I'm looking forward to the launch day. And, when it comes to the reviews, I agree with almost all of them. Like, it's solid tech. It's, and plus, one of the things I like about a lot of the reviews is that they actually mention what it looks like, because that thing is meant to go in your living room or stand on your desk, and it's meant to blend with your living room. And the thing is, like, everything I've got tech-wise is either a cube or a rectangle. Like, I'm glad it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb and it won't age the next day. It's just a plain box, and that's what I want from a console. But like the fact that I'm getting this like ray tracing box with 100 up to 120 frames if I have the correct monitor, but it's like I look at this box and say future proofing, because they can improve on ray tracing, you can improve on like getting higher frames, more stable frames and stuff. But hey, I agree with almost all the reviews. Like again, they were leaning on Halo, but at the same time, I'm still looking forward to this release more than ever.
Yo, Jamie, I gotta say, the ones I saw, they did a really good job. And, it's not like they tried to ignore any of the negatives that were going on. I think they expressed the negatives while also thinking about this system moving into the future. And, it's not like the Xbox division was on its last leg, and it's not like Xbox doesn't have anything to offer for people who are thinking about getting the Series X or Series S. And I will say, on that note, I want to give a shout out because we got our first super chat of the night. It comes from Axel1324 Gaming. He says native 4K, checkerboard 4K, temporal reconstruction 4K, 4K. I don't give up just as long as it's 60 frames per second. Yo, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for that super chat, showing love and support for the channel and, of course, the show. Definitely appreciate that. But I really do feel that when it came down to it, the reviews for the system were fair. It wasn't just about, what wasn't there, but they talked about what was there. And they talked about what was there in abundance. And I feel like at least the reviews I saw, they were really good. So on that note, we got to move on. And Rand, this is probably going to be the time where me and you are going to probably take a nap real quick, because BioWare announced that they are not done with a certain franchise. You know what, Jamie, why don't you let people know what is going on over there?
Wait. Before Jimmy started talking, BioWare. Wait, hold on. You're right. BioWare wasn't done with this IP. It's the reason why EA and BioWare brought Casey Hudson back, as you were, Jamie.
See, Rand, they're already going over my head, man. Like I have never been a big like Mass Effect dude, and Rand, you know so much about video games. You probably know exactly what he's talking about there. Me, I'm like.
I mean, I love Mass Effect.
Oh, see, damn. So it's gonna be. Guess what? This is gonna be where Xbot takes a nap. Then, all right. But yo, Jamie, why don't you let people know what's going on? It is something that you have been talking about on Twitter for a long time. So why don't you let people know, what the news was in terms of this franchise? Let them know what the franchise was, all that good stuff. Jamie, it's on you, man. You got a host right now, dude.
Oof, where to start? So the Mass Effect trilogy, one of the best trilogies of all time, in my opinion. I don't care what people say about 3; they're all wrong. But when it comes to this trilogy, it's just amazing. Like, the world building, the characters, the gameplay. Maybe not in the first game, but like the whole package, it's just amazing. And Andromeda, that's its own story. But yeah, we got announcement of the remaster, the Legendary Edition, which it's going to have many improvements, some of which they didn't even go over in the blog post. And they mentioned that there's going to be a new Mass Effect game, which isn't going to be out for a long time. But the Mass Effect trilogy remaster, we've had lots of remasters this generation. Go back to 2014, we were getting a remaster like every other week, from Sleeping Dogs to like the Tomb Raider remaster that came out a year later. We had a lot, and the whole generation, I've seen people say they want Dead Space, they want certain COD games remastered, they want certain, the Mass Effect trilogy remastered. And we finally get it. We only had to wait an entire generation. Damn you, EA, for making me wait. But still, like, I've known about this for a long time, and
what is it now? It's a remaster, not a remake, right?
Yeah, it's a remaster. The thing is, I think.
Do you know what they're doing with it? Is it going to have like improved textures, stuff like that, or is it just going to be an up-res? Have they said anything in terms of what they're actually doing with the trilogy?
Yeah, so I go over everything in my video. Everyone knows my channel, The Elusive Gamer. But we're going to get increased texture. And the thing is, I've played Mass Effect 1 10 times, start to finish, 100%, and I make the same choices every time. But like the problem with those games is that, like, when I'm playing them, I notice that like textures load in very slowly, and even when they do, you can't tell that they've loaded in because they're such a low quality, and it's like that is the main visual thing with the first game, is that the textures are just terrible. So they're going to rework textures, and there's going to be high resolution textures 4, 2, and 3, obviously. And the thing they didn't go over is the first game. It hasn't aged that well when it comes to the gameplay. The cover button doesn't work properly. The map closes half the time by itself. It's a bit of a janky game. So like when they put this out as a single product, they want people to play the whole franchise and the whole trilogy. So they have to go in and rework the first game's gameplay elements. And I've followed that game for a long time, and the engine is a complete mess. So good luck to the developers making it.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah,
the Mako is a mess.
He's speaking.
The
his
Mako
truth,
is a mess. Everything else is beautiful.
He's speaking his truth.
No, don't get me wrong. The first Mass Effect game is my favorite. Like, even though it's my favorite game of all time, I could name 200 things wrong I don't like about that game.
200. Oh, damn.
But like, just the world building, everything about it, it's perfect, in its own broken way. But it's like, when it comes to this trilogy, a lot of work's going into the first game, and that's why it's being pushed back into next year, which I'm perfectly fine with. And I'm gonna buy it day one. But yeah, it's all 3 games, all DLC, including promotional items. Which, like, the thing is about the Mass Effect games that nobody really talked about at the time is that if you wanted every single piece of DLC, you had to literally buy the game from like 10 different shops. So it's like, a game in the UK had an exclusive hoodie, which is the N7 hoodie. But if you bought it off Amazon, you got the leather jacket. And it was just like, it was all over the place. But all that crap's going to be in this single package. And,
is it really like the M7 hoodie and everything?
Yeah, every single item, including
because I never got a chance to get the M7 hoodie.
Including the robot dog from Mass Effect 3, which I could never guess. But yeah, it's over 150 hours of content in one package, and as a Brit, November 7th, yesterday, I saw millions of people around the world cheering, and I could only assume it was forSs Effect. That's
the only reason. That's the only reason. New York erupted. New York erupted, by the way, and that's the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the Mass Effect trilogy was announced, and it was like the end of Return of the Jedi. It's like it was fantastic. It was beautiful. But it's finally out there now. We all know about it, and they said it's coming out in spring. So again, all content, better textures, and the first game being reworked, which they didn't talk about. But trust me, it will be a lot better than the original release, which was broken to hell. But it's a good time to be a Mass Effect fan, because we went 5 years without a Mass Effect game, and then they announced Andromeda, and they came out with Andromeda. Andromeda was a broken mess.
You were so excited for Andromeda as well, man.
We were so excited.
Listen, I am only talking to Jamie right now, sir. All right.
Now, when you're talking about Mass Effect, you're talking to me and Jamie. I'll have you know.
Guys, I mean, it's funny. I booked Yobi before any of this information came out, and then one of the first things I thought of was this show tonight, having Yobi and Jamie, and now, Rand's like, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan too. I'm like, dude, I should just mute my mic and let you three just kind of go at it about this whole thing. Actually, before I do that, I do have a super chat real quick. Hold on. Shout out
Can I read it?
Well, can I shout him out and then you can read it? How about that?
Hell yeah.
All right, because I do really like the name. First off, shout out to Big Chuck 777, and Chuck, I will say 7 is one of my absolute favorite numbers. Yo, thank you so much for hitting up the super chat. And he says, Yobi,
thank you for the super chat. He said, excited for this week. Hopefully this adds to your Series S fun. You are appreciated, my guy.
Thank you, brother. All respect to you. Thank you so much, bro. But all right, so Jamie, you got to get Yobi and Rand in on this. So where are you gonna go? What are you gonna ask? What's going on here, man? You got to get them involved, dude.
Yeah, but before I ask anything, I just want to say that this game, this trilogy, isn't just for nerds like me who's going to replay it for like the billionth time. This game is to sell new people on it, because we had 5 years without Mass Effect. Andromeda practically tanked the franchise. People didn't buy the books that were based in the Andromeda galaxy, and it's like,
I did
this. So did I, but I didn't read them. It's like I couldn't be bothered, but it's like this trilogy is to get people back in to the Mass Effect universe, and Casey Hudson and the team that worked on the trilogy, or a lot of the team, are working on the new game. So this new game is literally to throw people into this new game. And that's the most exciting part, because again, we went 5 years without a game, and then the developers announced that the Mass Effect franchise was going in hiatus Well, to me, 5 years was already a hiatus. So to me, it's a good look for the franchise going forward, and we get a sweet trilogy next year, and then we wait maybe 4 years for Mass Effect 4. But yeah.
Maybe 4 years.
But as long as it's a good game at the end of the day, I don't care how long they take.
Nice. Now, all right, we got to get, you know what, we got to get Yobi and Rand in on this. So guys, we're gonna make this more of like an open discussion between you guys, because when it comes to Mass Effect, I'm excited for this remaster in the fact that I played Mass Effect 1 a little bit, and I dabbled in Mass Effect 2 a little bit, but if they're going in and they're kind of touching up the textures and stuff like that, I'm excited to try it again. I'll go in and I'll give it kind of like that, that college try for Jamie, Yobi, and Rand. But guys, like I'll make this like more open space so you guys can chime in and kind of talk off what each other is saying. But Yobi, Rand, like, what's going on? Are you guys excited? Is it screw every other game now because this trilogy is coming out and they're working on another Mass Effect as well?
Go ahead, Ren.
I wouldn't say screw every other game.
This
Mass
is coming
Effect
from a man who has played Barbie before, so I didn't expect you to say screw every other
Wow.
game.
Well, no, I mean, like, I played through. I love the Mass Effect trilogy, and I do want to replay it. It's just one of those things that this probably should have been done a long time ago. I don't know why they waited so long, and I want to see what the enhancements are for the next gen. They didn't really talk about what enhancements there will be for Series S or Series X.
Series S
know,
too. You do not. Series S is not the redheaded stepchild. Okay.
People want to make it seem like Series S is this horrible machine. But like, when I look at Mass Effect, I'm one of those people that will die on the hill that Mass Effect 1's gameplay was horrible, right? And Mass Effect 1 was good despite the gameplay, despite its subpar gameplay.
Yeah.
The story basically carried the story and the voice acting and like the sci-fi setting really carried that game. And they improved the gameplay by leaps and bounds in Mass Effect 2. I don't think the story was as good, but that's just a minor complaint. But overall, the trilogy is fantastic. Now, I hope they fine-tune the gameplay of Mass Effect 1, but something tells me they won't. So I'm not...
Don't say that.
So I'm like not that excited to like replay Mass Effect 1 because I know what is sort of waiting for me with the combat in that game. You know what I mean?
You gotta break my heart like that, man.
As for like a new game, it's I didn't play Andromeda because it didn't really seem appealing whatsoever. Even though I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, I was just like, this doesn't look very good. I'll probably play it at some point, but I don't know. Like BioWare recently has just kind of their quality has really declined since they put out the Mass Effect trilogies and they put out the Dragon Ages 1s and 2s and stuff. Like I don't know if like a lot of the talent that was there, part of original BioWare, are gone, or they're more like wanting to make live service games like EA's forcing them to. So like I look at Anthem and the problems it has, right? They're supposed to be revamping that game, and then they've announced Dragon Age, right? The next Dragon Age, and who knows when that's coming out. And now here's another Mass Effect, and you're just like looking at it and being like, okay, but when's it coming out? Is it coming out in the next 5 years? Because you already, like, there's the Anthem, rework they need to do, and Dragon Age. And if it does come out, it's like, is it going to be any good? Because BioWare's recent work has not been up to their normal standard that they used to
Definitely
do in the original Xbox and the 360. So like, while I am excited for a new game, I am also kind of like, I don't want to get too excited because I know what their output has been recently. And then you just look at like, okay, what would a new game even be? Because, certain things happen in Mass Effect 3, which, is it going to be a Mass Effect Andromeda 2, a sequel there? Is it going to be a time skip, like a millennia later? Is it going to be a prequel where maybe you revisit certain things in the past? Like, I don't know what they're going to do with it. So
I would bet on time skip. Go millennia later. Like, if I had to.
Nah. See. This I'm going to stop you there.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to sound smart right now. So I'm saying
you are smart. You're a smart man. Me, along with a lot of people, especially in the community, in the Mass Effect community, we want to see what happens post Reaper War. It kind of sucked that they went with Andromeda. I know why they went with Andromeda, because they wanted to get away from Mercury by the fuck up they did with Mass Effect 3. Excuse my language of the ending. I wouldn't be
on this channel. Just be you, bro. Okay, it don't matter.
Yeah, thank you. I wouldn't oppose to seeing Andromeda 2. I would love to see Andromeda 2, but I want to see them go back to the Milky Way and finish, because they said, "Oh, Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, Shepard's story is over." Okay, but look at Halo. Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got Halo Infinite come out, and Master Chief is still going strong. Honestly, I feel like Commander Shepard's story ends over, because now that the Reaper War is over, he's alive. You got new threats. Me personally, I'll say a new threat is coming. The Batarians in Mass Effect 2, in the Arrival DLC, he basically, Shepard, wasn't really his fault, but they mistakenly committed genocide with the Batarian race. So now when the war is over,
genocide.
That's a new enemy. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a new enemy. That's a new enemy right there. Okay, the war is over. Now they want Shepard's head. They want blood. They want blood for Shepard and the human race, because now since Shepard mistakenly did that, they're gonna put the blame on him and other humans. Like, there's many ways. There's many ways they can go with it. That's just my take on that. With Andromeda 2, I saw what they're trying to do, but I read the Kotaku article, and it was it was basically a fuck up. Basically, Andromeda 2, that finished product that's out right now, that's the work of what, 6 months to a year. When they spent like between 5 and 7 years in limbo, not knowing what the hell to do, and this and that and the third. So it's like, me personally, I wouldn't even put Andromeda. I would have just canceled it. And like I said, it's many ways they can go with it. Andromeda 2 didn't get received well, because the animations, the story is decent, but a lot of people was telling me that the Ryder twins, they're no Commander Shepard. Well, they're basically kids. Of course, they're not Commander Shepard. No one can fuck with Commander Shepard, point blank. Period. All right, my rant is done.
Nice. So, anything else on this when it comes to Mass Effect? Like I said, I feel like I am the consumer that's like on the outside of the store looking through the glass right now, because I never really got into Mass Effect that much. Like I said, I dabbled in one a little bit. One came out and it was a big thing about like, the choices you make and how like moving forward and going into the second one, your choices are supposed to affect kind of like the franchise as you go.
Yes, and the thing about Mass Effect, every time you play Mass Effect, all three of them, you always gonna see something you didn't really see in your first playthrough, or if you do the first playthrough as a soldier, cool right, the second playthrough as an adept, you're gonna see different. You're gonna see different stories coming into play, and it's so sick. It's like every time I play Mass Effect over, I always see something different, and it never fails. I was like, this is fucking beautiful. I always be wanting to cry when I see that, man.
Nice.
As someone that like I adore Mass Effect, but the problem with Andromeda is that they moved to a new engine, and ever since they moved to Frostbite, it's been a complete mess. Outside of
agree.
If I can find the video when it was announced that Mass Effect Andromeda was going to be in Frostbite, I posted a video on Twitter of me losing my crap. Right, I lost it.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Like if I can find it, I'll post it. Like, I lost my shit, because like, I don't like the Frostbite engine unless it's Battlefield. It's janky. They didn't even have proper third-person camera controls when it comes to the development. So it's like the whole thing was just a mess. And, it was actually in development for 18 months, but you wouldn't think that from the state it was in.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Yo, shout out to Frankie Capone in the chat.
Congrats, Frankie.
Yo, Frankie won a Series X from Taco Bell. Go ahead, brother. My bad. Yo, I had to my eyes just stop right on there. Yo, shout out to you.
I'm not jealous at all.
Yo, Frankie, that is awesome, man. Jamie, it seems like it's happening for a second week in a row. Somebody said something in the chat that I just gotta say while you're
Why am I looking at Jamie riding a turtle?
Well, no, it's not Jamie.
I mean, Randolph Thor. Sorry.
No, this was a clip showing like auto HDR, and unfortunately, with
It does look beautiful.
I don't have like the best kind of like computer rig and stuff like that, but I do my best to make a really good production value for you guys, and I snagged the footage of auto HDR for these games and stuff like that, and I put them.
You saw auto HDR. I saw him riding the turtle.
Okay. But my bad, Jamie. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
No, it's just that that moving to Frostbite was a bad mistake, and hopefully with with new management and stuff, and hell, I know Jedi Fallen Order was in development before. What do you call them? Yeah, I forgot the name of the developers. Before the developers were purchased by Respawn, that was it. Like it was, they start making it Unreal, so yeah, they're allowed to do what they want. But hopefully they can move back to Unreal, because I can see jank. And the problem with Andromeda is that, go back to tweets a few years ago, like I was hyping that game like it was nothing else. And the problem about Andromeda is that the first 5 to 6 hours of that game lose you into this false sense of security, of familiarity, because it makes you feel a lot like, oh, this is a lot like the first Mass Effect game. And then when it opens up and it feels like a 2014 Ubisoft game. And that's the problem with that game. It doesn't feel like a Mass Effect game. But I still enjoyed it in the end, but like I would rather not have another game like that. And the problem with Mass Effect is that people love the characters now. People love, Liara, Rex, Garrus, like they're probably going to do something else with those characters involved over something, set a millennia ahead. Even though millennia ahead would probably be the safe bet, but it's like it's like Halo. People want Master Chief in Halo. People want Shepard.
Do they want Master Chief? There was no big thing about not playing as Master Chief in any of the more recent Halos, right? Nah, nothing at all.
Like nothing's ever like happened like that before. But it's like, I think it's in good hands if Casey Hudson can make the game he wants. But as much as I can't get hyped for a single piece of concept art, I'll just say that like we have the trilogy to look forward to at least, and if that sells well, who knows? Maybe it'll influence because if the trilogy sells well, they'll probably go, oh well, we need another game like this. Because the problem with Andromeda is it's nothing like the trilogy.
Nothing.
And that's just me.
Nice.
And Jamie, sorry Bob, but Jamie, to piggyback on what you said, the thing that pissed me off about Andromeda is you had some of these damn developers trying to make excuses. Like this one,
Rand,
he had an
Pandora's box here with these.
No, you did. Like, dude, it was this one developer. They had an interview with him, and he basically sat there and told a bold-faced lies. Like, I think the reason why Andromeda is not doing too well is because it released on the same day as Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like, dude, stop it. Like, come on, bro. That's corny and shit. Like, stop it. Stop it.
I mean, there's things about the Mass Effect Andromeda development I won't go into because it doesn't need to be said. But it's like that development was hell. I mean, I remember an interview before that game came out.
Just read the Kotaku out of you. You'll see what Jamie is talking about. Go ahead, Jamie.
Oh no, this goes beyond that. This is like about a month beforehand. It's where one of the developers was like, "Oh yeah, we all played The Witcher 3, and it really influenced the game, and we have 12 different hubs." And I was like, "Wait a minute, 12 different hubs?" And then I asked one of the developers on Twitter after this interview went live. I was like, "Oh, so how many planets?" And then he said, "Oh, a handful." And I'd had to do a double take because I was like, I've played the trilogy. There's way more than a handful in each game. And what happens? The game comes out, 5 bloody planets and one's a moon that you can't walk on. Congratulations, BioWare, you lost your heart, But it's like, and look with Anthem. Anthem was a beautiful game, but it was a beautiful mess. And as much as I like the flight, like I didn't play that game for longer than a week. And hell, I don't even think I played it longer than 3
I
days.
let the Don convince me that was going to be a good game. Like Anthem was going to be a good game.
Don.
Shout out to the Don, man. But they're working on it now. So there's some information that came out with updates. We got to see what's going on with that. But
Outside of the trilogy remaster, I'm not going to hype train anything else for them. But I'll say that now it's probably empty words. But just I think it's a good look going forward, and I think we've been talking about Mass Effect for 10 hours now. So yeah.
Yeah, I just got one more thing to do, and then we can shoot it over to Rand. It was also what you just said earlier, Jamie.
Hold on, real quick, real quick. I just got it. Jesse, my brother. I absolutely love you, man. You definitely support this channel. No talk about other platforms, man. I am giving you a verbal warning.
Ooh, a verbal warning.
A verbal warning, man. Don't make me have to time you out for like 120 seconds or so and then keep climbing. Come on, bro. This is all Xbox, man. Even Christopher Hart does not talk about other... Hold on.
Noof Kaboom in the room.
Noof.
What up, Noof?
What is up, brother? But guys, yes, this is the Xbox Series X podcast. We only talk about Xbox on the show and in the chat. All right, guys, let's do it the right way here. But
Let me finish this. So yeah, what Jamie said about their whole Frostbite engine. The Frostbite engine, the graphics are beautiful, but I despise the whole entire engine because, like you said, it was developed in hell for the developers at BioWare, and that type of engine is not. It's you don't use that type of engine for RPG games, especially on the scale of Mass Effect. And I read what EA they was talking out their ass again a while back. They said, oh well, we didn't force BioWare to use the Frostbite engine from Mass Effect and Andromeda. I call bullshit because I also read an article a while back that any basically any game that comes out of EA, they basically it's basically by contract that everyone, the developers are basically it's mandatory for them to use the Frostbite because because EA doesn't want to go out and pay the fees to use other gameplay
in-house engines when it comes down to it. And it is a business move, and I know what you're saying about EA saying that they didn't force anybody or something like that, but in terms of the business side of things, if you have an in-house engine, you would want your developers to use that engine because you don't have to pay to use UE4 and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, but at the same time, when they put the guys on it to use the Frostbite, the guys who was making Andromeda, they had no clue. It was basically their first time using Frostbite. They basically didn't get a heads up or nothing. Because actually, no, I'm wrong. They did get a heads up because it was a video leaked about it was a gameplay of Andromeda on a mission for I forgot the Krogan name on that on Andromeda, but the graphic engine that they were using, I don't know, that wasn't Frostbite. It looked so fucking good. It looked like real. And they put it side by side with the Frostbite, and that other engine looked 10 times better.
All right,
10 times better.
All right, I got you, man. And I'm about to break some hearts now because I think we got to move on from.
Yeah, please.
So these guys they had their fill. Rand, you didn't really get into much. Is there anything you want to say?
The engine ran very well and jump. Yeah.
I mean, I said all I wanted to say.
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm excited to play the remaster. I wish they, would update Mass Effect 1's combat to be more like Mass Effect 2, but I think that's unrealistic. And I'm hyped for the new game, but I'm gonna be a little bit cautious because of BioWare's recent track record, right? So we'll see how it all comes out, how it all plays out in the years to come.
Nice.
Okay, well here's a question for you, Jamie. Yobi, right? I got a question for you. Do you think the new Mass Effect game even comes out during this next generation?
Yes. Late generation, yeah.
So you think maybe 5-6 years from now?
Me personally, go ahead, Jamie. Go ahead.
Well, the thing is, we have Dragon Age coming out, and we don't know necessarily which team's making what right now. But yeah, I can't see this coming out for 5 years. That's why I can't get so excited. Like, it's exciting at the prospect of the franchise coming back, but I can't get excited at a new game that's 5 years away.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, and do I believe it's gonna come out when the new generation that starts on Tuesday? Yes, but it's most likely it's probably gonna pull a Grand Theft Auto 6. Probably gonna come out at the end of the new generation, because Dragon Age is coming out as well. I mean, I don't give a rat's ass about Dragon Age, but whatever. So yeah.
All right, and as you can hear, I'm busy talking right now. I mean, typing. I'm busy typing.
It's all good, man.
Talking with my fingers. How about that one? Yeah.
All good.
Just know. All right. Here's the deal, Jesse. You can talk about anything with the Series X that you want to talk about. Just no comparisons, man. You don't need to compare. We're not trying to say it's better than this or that. We're not getting into console war and competition. But you can talk about the speed of the Series X and stuff. We could talk about stuff like that without having to compare it to some other piece of plastic. That's all we're saying, and that's about this show right here. If you want something where we're gonna go in and talk about all the different platforms and all the news that is with all the different platforms. Next podcast is on every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. That is the show where we do that. This is for the Xbox gamer to talk everything Xbox, no console war, no other platforms, just everything Xbox, no comparisons, stuff like that. So that's what this show is for. And with that being said, guys, I got to talk about what I think is the highlight of the week, and it came out of nowhere. Now, first off, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, people affectionately call it Ori 2. They talked about the patch that's coming out, the Series X, Series S kind of like enhancements. And of course, a lot of people, they gravitate to the higher end. They gravitate to the Series X and look at all the enhancements that are there. Now, again, you guys know, unfortunately right now I am not in the market for the Series X, and I am definitely eyeing the Series S. And there was some things with the list of enhancements for the Series S that got me excited with Ori, and it was released today, actual gameplay on the Series S for a game called Watch Dogs Legion, where the Series S, a $300 entry-level next-generation Xbox, was utilizing ray tracing in the reflections on the buildings and the puddles and everything like that. And I gotta say, guys, it looked absolutely gorgeous. And seeing this system, which a lot of people kind of bypass because they're like, oh, it's not the beefiest, it's not the most powerful. Some people even questioned if it was even a viable purchase over, say, an Xbox One X. Now we're seeing stuff like the Series S using ray tracing and Watch Dogs Legion. When it comes to Ori 2, you're looking at 1080p at 120 frames per second or 4K at 60 frames per second. And I know Ori's not the biggest game in the world, but guys,
it's a beautiful game.
It is one of the prettiest games I have ever seen. And I watched how the developers made the graphics for this, how it was kind of like hand painted. Of course it was on the computer, but everything was kind of like hand drawn out and stuff. It absolutely incredible what Moon Studios did visually, and I think it's pretty much I call it the platformer of the generation. Ori 1 and Ori 2. I think when it comes to platformers, in my opinion, those are number 1 and number 2 for this generation. But
Nice.
let's go to Rand here on this one, because Yobi and Jamie got to talk a lot about their favorite franchise, and I want to get Rand's opinion on this. And again, Rand,
Of course, go ahead.
I know you got a Series X, and we can tell you're hyped. We watched your videos, we heard you on this show, but when you see what the Series S is doing, you got ray tracing in Watch Dogs Legion. You see that it's going 4K 60 and then 1080, 120 frames per second. When it comes to Ori 2, a lot of people ignored this system and said that, the 1X would actually be a better purchase because of the 4K and this and that. And it's got more T-flops and all that good stuff. Dude, what do you think about what we've been seeing from the Series S performance? Would you consider it a next-gen console? And do you think people are kind of like, do you think, how people have kind of bypassed it? Do you think that's fair? Do you think this is a quality machine from the performance we're seeing so far?
Yeah, I think it's a quality machine. I think it's targeted at like the people watching the podcasts and the YouTubers and stuff. I don't think it's targeted at them, right? So it's targeted at a different audience. But I mean, it is a next gen machine because it is going to play all the next gen games. Like Xbox One's not going to be able to after a certain point because it doesn't have the new CPU and it doesn't have the new GPU, so it's just not going to be able to do it. It's just going to be lower resolution stuff. So like, Ori 2, which I played on the Series X, there's a mode that's 6K downsampled to 4K at 60 frames, which looks like a living painting at that point, right? But I mean, but on the Series S, it's 4K 60, which is a great experience for that game. I think a lot of people get caught up in the whole resolution stuff. Like they were really pinpointing, like, oh my god, 900p for the Yakuza game.
Yeah.
And I do think Microsoft's marketing they said, oh, this is a 1440p machine, which it supports really up to that, even though like Ori does 4K. And I think people were expecting, well, 1440p is good, and I would imagine as the generation goes on that most games will just be 1080p on it. So it really comes down to, do you want 4K or do you want 1080p? Because if you have a 4K television, like a lot of people do, the Series X is more than likely for you. If you don't care about resolution and you don't care about having the best of the best, and you just want to play Madden or FIFA or Fortnite or Call of Duty, and you don't have any affinity for any platform, right? Because there are people like that. They don't care about platform exclusives, right? Mm-hmm. So they just want to play on the cheapest they can get. Like the Series S would really appeal to them. And, for $300, you got a game like Watch Dogs Legion doing ray tracing. You can't comparably do that on PC for any price
for
close to $300.
No, dude.
It's an entry level machine, and I feel like the people that are talking down about it are super hardcore gamers that want the best of the best. There's like, well, it only has 360 gigabytes of space. It's like, yeah, no duh. Well, if that's a problem, you can either use your externals or buy the expansion card. But more than likely, it's not for you. So spend the extra $200 and get the Series X that comes with the terabyte. Like that's the thing. Is like a lot of people complaining. A lot of people complain about it because it's good for likes and retweets on social media, or it makes for a good clickbait.
It definitely gets
clickbait
traffic,
headline.
Man. Definitely.
It gets clickbait like headline on a YouTube video, right? When it's like, dude, it's not for you. The Series S isn't for you. Like, I don't understand what you're complaining about. Like,
Rand,
you know what I mean?
Check this out. This is my reasoning. And another thing, because I know you brought up the size of the memory. How much space is in there for games. I just want to point a couple things out because when it comes to the Series S, games like Sea of Thieves, right? Sea of Thieves on the Series S is going to be 17 gigabytes, where on the Series X, it's going to be 47 gigabytes. So you got 17 on the S, 47 on the Series X. When you look at Dirt 5, now Dirt 5, for some rhyme or reason, it's a chunky boy. Like, it's going to be 56 gigabytes on the Series S, but on the Series X, it's going to be 72. So you got, you're looking at 20s in terms of the gigabytes, less when it comes to the Series S. Gears 5 on the Series X is going to be 64. But on the Series S, it's going to be 39 gigs. So right there, you're seeing a dramatic decrease in the size of the games. you know, because of the resolution of the textures and stuff like that. I definitely get all that, right? This is what I'm thinking about it. And again, you know, somebody who's kind of like strapped for cash. We're getting into the next generation. I have a 1X right here, right? Now, what's gonna do me good, right? I didn't get a chance to pre-order the Series X. I actually didn't get a chance to pre-order the Series S. I think the Series S is gonna be more available at a quicker time than the Series X will be. That's what I'm thinking. So, with the 1X, you trade it in for the Series S, right? So you got a $300 system. Say they take anywhere between 100 to 150 off of that for the 1X. So now you're looking at like a $150 to $200 machine. So that's pretty much what you're paying for that system. And then when you do get up some money and stuff like that, and you can afford the Series X, wouldn't it be better to trade the Series S in for the Series X as opposed to the 1X? Like the 1X is going to be older hardware. I think it's going to be cheaper. And then, you know, after once things cool down, when it comes to the launch and these new generation systems are going to be there in store a lot more regularly, I think I would get more trade-in value for the Series S into the Series X. Now, Rand, what do you think about my thinking on that? Does that sound pretty solid to you, bro?
So you think you get more trade-in value on the Series S than the trade-in value on the Series X?
On the 1X. Sorry about that.
Oh, the 1X?
Yeah.
Well, like right now, the 1X at GameStop, you can trade it in for $175.
Oh, damn.
Because I asked my boy Forte, because I have my 1X, I have my 1X and my 1S and another system I can't mention. And I was going to trade those in, and trading those in would net me about $475 because it was $175 for the 1X, and then $120. It was like $125 for the 1S. So
but
if
you trade it toward the next gen, you get 200.
Yeah, if you trade it, well, I'm not trading it to next gen. I just want to get rid of them, and I was probably just going to be like, give me $500 worth of Xbox money because I need to buy some games, you know.
Yeah.
Sweet, my man.
So if you trade it in the Series S, what all comes down to availability, like how many consoles they actually have used, and if you buy it for $300, I could see you probably getting $200 for it potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Series X $500, you trade that in. I would imagine you'd at least get $350, right, Jamie? Maybe something like that.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I don't know.
What I'm saying is, if I upgrade my 1X now, because like I said, I can't afford going for top tier, but if I upgrade my 1X now to a Series S, right, and I use my 1X and trade into the Series S.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So if you went to GameStop and you traded in your 1X and you use that trade-in value, you get $200, which means you only have to pay $100 for the Series S.
So now I paid $100 for the Series S.
Now you paid $100 for the Series S, and then whenever you were ready to trade in for the Series X, you would probably get
more trade-in value for the
probably
Series S.
$200 for it. And then you'd only have to pay, $300 for the Series X, essentially. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's however you want to go about it. But if that's the way you want to go about it, then that's the way you want to go about it.
Hey, it's
everybody
not
has
DiGiorno, it's the struggle. You know what I'm saying?
It's not DiGiorno.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking about. And like what I'm saying here again, and with the load times, because people in the chat they were talking about like the sizes of the games. Again, we're looking at Series X and Sea of Thieves. Series X 47 gigabytes. Series S 17 gigabytes for Sea of Thieves. That is a huge kind of like gap right there in terms of game size, right? Then you got 72.5 gigs for Dirt 5 on the Series X, but the Series S is 56. Again, that's still pretty chunky. Gears 5, right? On the Series X, 64 gigabytes, but on the Series S, you have 39. So yes, the Series S does not have as much memory, does not have as much storage as the Series X does, but the games are inherently smaller. So, with that being said, I I look at the Series S. It's doing ray tracing. It's playing games at a top level in terms of what it can do. 4K 60 frames per second on Ori 2. That absolutely beautiful for me. Then not only that, but you're getting all the graphical fidelity as well. Like for games that are coming out, you're gonna get some really good graphics. You see that Watch Dogs Legion is doing ray tracing. Jamie, what do you think about the Series S? And again, this is a system that a lot of people are like, oh, it's not even worth it. The One X has more T-flops, man. So do you think they were right here? Or from what we're seeing when it comes to games running on the Series S, is this really a viable option out there for gamers, man?
Everything I've seen online about this has been silly. There's some shenanigans, some hootenannies, and poppycock all over the place.
Poppycock.
The thing is, it's obviously a next generation console. It does ray tracing. It has up to 120 frames games. So if it quacks like a duck and it looks like a duck, then it ain't a pizza. The thing is, I think too many people look at negativity and think, oh, I can cash in on this, be it like either be YouTube or likes on Twitter. A lot of people like likes on Twitter, and the negativity does that. I see more people online on Twitter saying every day, you know what, this new game coming out, I'm not interested in that, rather than saying, oh, I'm interested in this other game. It's the same situation, but they know that negativity is going to get more likes because if it's controversial, more attention. If it's not controversial, people just probably agree with it. But it's like, it's a next generation console. And the thing is, not everybody cares about resolution. As Rand was saying, again, I care about resolution because ever since I stepped out of the pyramid in Assassin's Creed Origins when I got my Xbox One X, I was like, this is what I'm getting? And that wasn't even full 4K. So, now I love the crispy crispness of 4K. Like, Red Dead Redemption, to me, is possibly the best looking game ever made. It's so bloody sharp. And, that not everybody cares about that. Like, most people in the UK still don't even have 4K TVs. Hell, most television entertainment is still at 720p. So it's like, obviously people do care about 4K, but not everyone does. I mean, like I've said before, when Football Manager comes out in the UK, most people are going to head out and buy a Xbox Series S because that's a cheap little Game Pass box that will have Football Manager on it. And again, they have to look at this console other than people that don't care about resolution getting this box, how many people only play 1 or 2 games a year? How many of those people want 4K? And then you have to look at how many of these are going to be stocked for Christmas. Probably more S's because there's more of them going to fly off the shelves. Because again, and I feel like saying it's a casual box puts the console in a bad spotlight, but it is a more cheaper product, is a more casual device. That's just how it is, and more people can buy it. Why do you think the cheaper iPhone sells more? Because it's cheaper.
More people can afford it. Come on, man.
Yeah. And it's like, I see people online put others down for getting this box, and I think there's no need to be a horrific human being.
Jamie, I will let you know, if I get the Series S, I will wear that badge with pride. I'll have pictures of me hugging that box before I open it. I swear, man.
There's people that have to spend close to $1,000 or more than $1,000 to get ray tracing out of a game. Some people are going to be able to, fire up an Xbox Series S and get ray tracing and Watch Dogs for less than around $299, and that's fantastic.
It looks so good, man. Come on, that gameplay footage looked amazing.
And I find it funny because the people that bash Xbox Series S online didn't believe the game existed the console existed in the first place. These same clowns thought Fable 4 was fake. So. At the end of the day, these people aren't really worth listening to. They're just clowns. And, if people want an S, they can buy it. This is going to get games longer than the One X and the One S. So it's like, of course it's a next-gen machine. And, I get it. Negativity and that is easier to spread and easier to get likes. But, hey, it's gonna play. And this console, by the way, and I won't say the other platforms, but the Xbox Series S is going to be able to play Star Wars Squadrons at 1440p at 120 frames per second. The only other console that's going to be able to do 120 frames on that game is the Xbox Series X.
Oh my
Therefore,
goodness.
Next generation console. Case closed.
Case closed, man, and I love that. And I gotta say, you guys,
Just close the casket. He killed
Guy-
that. Good shit, Jamie.
guys, all the Xbox gamers out there, you can name your Xbox system, and if and when I get the Series S, shout out to the rap group Outkast, because I am gonna call it Speaker Box. That is gonna be the name of the
It does
Series
look like
S.
a speaker box.
Yeah, it's gonna be the
Yo,
name.
do you know when I find a website again, I'm gonna send it to you. They have a website where they make skins for the Series X and from the Series S, bro. And they look
Really?
so good. Yes, bro. So when I find it again, I'm gonna send it to you.
Nice, brother. I will share it out there. If they're really good,
Man.
I might make a
Oh,
video
they're
on
real
it.
good.
You know what I'm
They're
saying?
really good.
I
I got you. When I find it again, I'm gonna send it to you after the podcast.
Nice, brother. On that note, one more thing real quick. A game that a lot of people have been looking forward to, a game called The Medium. Made by a development team called Bloober. Unfortunately, it has been delayed till pretty much the end of January. I think it's January. It's either 21st or 28th.
21st.
What happened?
21st.
21st. See, and I thought it was the 28th, and I was hanging on to the Xbot might be right about that date, which is why I said 28th, and now I am absolutely wrong. So I appreciate that, Yobi.
That's all good.
A lot of games have been delayed. Moving into this generation. There's people out there that act like it's really only been a big deal on one platform, but I've seen quite a few games being delayed and whatnot. So, Yobi, I got to ask you, brother, as somebody looking to get into the next generation.
No, but sorry, you was right. It was the 28th. You're right. I was wrong. You was right. The medium in January 28, 2021.
Dude,
you were
you're
right.
not the only one that said the 21st. So you're not.
You was right. I was wrong.
Wow, brother. Thank you so much, man. I bow down to you. Respect. Respect for the honesty, man. But I gotta ask you, brother. Were you hyped for this game? And after you let me know if you had excitement for this, because the game does look awesome. Basically, you got two different versions of at least the aesthetics running at the same time when it comes to this game. You got the real world, then you got the spiritual world, basically running in tandem on your system while your character is switching over from one to the other. So basically it's running two games and it's letting your character switch between one and the other. That sounded really interesting to me. I know it was one of those games when it was first talked about. I really thought next generation. You know what I'm saying? Having those two sides running simultaneously. So I got to ask you, were you hyped about this game? And what do you think about the delay? Again, a lot of delays have happened, but did this one hit home for you, or are you kind of like ready, prepared, to wait it out until it comes out, man?
We're talking about.
I'm gonna tell you. Go ahead.
The medium.
I mean, it looks cool. I will say that as soon as Cyberpunk delayed to the day Medium was coming out, I knew they were going to delay the Medium again.
Oh yeah.
So
that's a great point, bro.
It was like, oh yeah, you know what?
We're moving.
You know what? You got to move your game.
Moving.
it wasn't a surprise they moved it to the end of January. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. It seems cool, but it wasn't a surprise to me. It got delayed.
Nice. What about you, Yobi?
I was excited.
He made a great point about Cyberpunk, by the way. That was a great
He really did.
Point, yeah.
Good breakdown. I was excited for the medium on a creepy factor, as in to the point where it looks mad creepy, like in a good way. And this is what I also said on Twitter. If from what I'm seeing, next generation is going to be the generation of delays. People see that as a bad thing, but I see it as a good thing because all generation we had to deal with games releasing day one and they were not fucking finished. Andromeda, Anthem, Avengers, they lost like what, over 100 some million?
64 million.
64 million, Division 2. The list goes on and on and on. And it's like, bro, and it's like, yo, if the game is not finished delay it for as long as possible until you can finish it. I'm glad they delayed Halo, because if they didn't delay Halo and it would have came out on the day the Series X release, that game would have got butchered. That game would have got fucking butchered, and it would have been a massacre on Twitter. Like, Halo would have got destroyed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I'm glad it got delayed. I'm glad Cyberpunk got delayed. I want them to delay these games for as long as possible until it's finished and ready to go.
Yobi said
Because we had
delay all the games until they're ready.
Bro, listen. Okay, you want to know why I said that, bot? Because I'm pretty sure everyone on this panel and everyone that's in the chat, we have backlogs that's as long as the years. Okay.
I don't know. Rand plays everything, man, and he plays everything to the full.
I got a backlog. I got a backlog.
Rand plays video games in his dreams, man. Listen. He plays videos again. He's like, oh, when did I finish this? Oh, I finished it in my dreams. Listen, we all have backlogs. So if they were to delay each and every new game that's coming out on the next generation, go ahead, because that gives us plenty of time to go through all the backlog, all the games that we haven't even touched or damn near haven't even finished yet. So I'll say go ahead, delay it for as long as possible. They should have delayed Avengers. They should have delayed Division 2. Even I bought all those games because I enjoyed them, but they should have delayed them because we've seen a lot of bullshit that's going on. So that's my take on it.
Okay, I got you, brother, and you know that makes sense. It's really grounded. You know, when at first you say, you know, delay all these games. I know there might have been some people in the chat, but that were like scratching their head on that. But I can appreciate where you're coming from. Like, I'm
just speaking my truth, man. If people paid attention to all of these games that released this generation, and they all released with bugs, you will see what I'm talking about.
I think what that has to do with is really going in on the x86 architecture with the ability to update the game rather easily on console. I think what happened there is, you know, there are delays to games, but when it's getting to the point where the publisher is pressuring the developers and stuff like that, and they really want to get a product out, I think the fallback to that is like, well, you know, we can keep working on the fixes and patch it out over time. I think that's kind of like the last straw for developers at this point, especially when publishers who are basically funding the development of the game, they're funding the marketing, all that good stuff. When the publishers start really getting on the developers' case, the developers got to do something. And I, you know, since we've moved over to the x86 architecture, you know, patching the game over time, it's really easy now. Where before,
you're right, but you're right to the point where the developers have to do something, but at the same time, the publisher should trust their developers enough to get the game done and
some
finished.
Publishers, man, they're grubby, man. They're about that dollar sign, bro.
I understand that, but for them to rush their developers to getting this game out, it's not gonna make things easier on their front. Because at the end of the day, the publisher's just thinking about the money instead of thinking about the well-being of the developers. Like, they need when developers is making these games, they need a clear head and they need a clear focus of what they're trying to do. They shouldn't have these publishers on breathing down their fucking necks to get these games out. Like, just give them time.
No, I hear you. No, I hear you, bro. And you know, all the publishers, like, they are different. There are certain publishers that are known for putting pressure on developers, and they're known for being about that money, that bottom line, getting the game out, getting the sales.
And when they're always thinking about the money, in turn, that can kill the developer's passion to even want to come back to work and even finish the game. You know?
No, I hear you, brother. I hear you, man. But, you know, it is what it is. This is definitely not a perfect world we live in. You know, this is not a perfect world we game in either. And, you know, unfortunately,
facts.
Unfortunately, you know, different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it. Yo, Jamie, what do you think about the medium? Oh, real quick, before we get into that, we do have another super chat. Yo, shout out to Infernal Lock hitting up that super chat, showing love and support for the show and the channel. He said, what do you think about Marvel Avenger losing $63 million? You know what I think about that? I have an interest to play that game, but I was not going to pay like full price to play that game. And what that's telling me, with how much money they have lost, that is going to be in the bargain bin any day now. Any day now. So I got pennies, dimes, and nickels kind of like spread around my computer desk right here. I'm going to gather them all up so I can play that game.
Inferno. Go ahead, Bob.
No, go ahead, man.
Inferno. What do I think? What do we think about that? Me personally, they shot themselves in the foot, because I feel like when they release a game, I was happy it released, but at the same time, like I didn't even know about the bugs until some of my guys was telling me about it, and I actually had a chance to experience it. They knew those bugs was in the game before it released, and what they did, they released the game because they trying to keep up with the hype with Fortnite with the Marvel characters coming out damn near every few weeks or every month, and they try to keep the hype of Marvel Avengers up in the air, and I think that's what they shot themselves in the foot at. Like I don't respect that. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't a call from the developers. I'm pretty sure it was a call from the higher ups.
Brother, and I like what you said about like trickling out characters, and that's one thing when it comes to Mortal Kombat 11, when it comes to the Battle Pass. I think that's something that hurts the Battle Pass for Mortal Kombat as well, because they take so much time in between the characters that they announce for the Battle Pass. I at least for me, as my like the type of gamer I am, that kills it for me, man. Like I feel like they got to come out a little bit quicker, in between, or maybe if you're gonna make a battle pack like that, double up the characters and give 2 out at once, because you know this, Yobi. When it comes to Mortal Kombat, you kind of pick a certain type of character. There's a certain type of fighting that you do. You're either kind of like the big brute that kind of bashes through blocks, or you're the more agile, you're the one that keeps people at a distance. So
basically I'm either Spawn or New Cybot, basically.
Okay. So, but with that being said, only coming out with one character and then having to wait so long for the next one, it only caters to like one type of fighter at a time. You see what I'm saying? Where if you bring out 2 at a time, then it's a more balanced. You got if you don't like this one, you might like that one right off the bat, and you're not waiting so long. And I agree with what you say about trickling out characters, and I feel that is that's a cheap way to try to get money to stay flowing through that game. In my opinion, I think it's a very cheap way to do that. But so let's go to Jamie. What do you think about the Avengers losing 63 million? We're gonna do the super chat, and then Jamie, I will go back to you about the medium as well. But what do you think about the Avengers losing $63 million?
I mean, I saw this coming a mile away. I think a lot of people did, because here's the thing, right? I'll put it out there. I am going to get the Avengers game. But the thing is, there's a lot of people that didn't buy that for a few reasons. Like me, waiting for next generation. They shot themselves in the foot by saying that there wouldn't be like a day one patch like for these new consoles. They said it would be next year. I know a lot of people that are waiting for next gen for these games. So there's that. There's having platform exclusive characters, which people are really against now. And it made sense. The reaction was clear that people did not like that move. The fact that the game was advertised as this single player experience with lots of set pieces, but in the end it was a Destiny-like style live exclusive, live service game, where the problem is, if every game is a live service game, not everyone has an infinite amount of time to dedicate to these games. So it's like people will stick to one. That's why I think we're going to see less live service games in the vein of Destiny and Division, because people don't have that much time. So there's that. And it's just Square Enix is bad at marketing games like Deus Ex. Like they just unless it's got Final Fantasy on the box, they cannot advertise for crap.
I love Deus Ex.
They cannot.
I love
I love that franchise. It's one of my favorite franchises. But it's like Square Enix ruined the advertising of that game. you know. And it's the same with Avengers. Like the advertising for that game was terrible. Like it had Marvel Avengers in it, yet in the UK I barely saw an advert on TV or on the internet for it.
It had Marvel Avengers, the stunt double edition. That's what they had. Okay.
And the problem, another problem with these games is that we've been watching these Marvel films for over a decade now, and we're used to how these characters look. But too many people jumped into this game thinking, but that doesn't look like Chris Evans. That doesn't look like Scarlett Johansson. But they're not meant to. But the problem is that the character designs are almost like the ones in the films with different faces. So now we think, well, they should look like those characters now. Because even in like the latest comics and that, do you know Thor looks exactly like whatever you call him in real life? I forgot his name.
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth. Like it looks exactly like Chris Hemsworth now. So it's like there's clear that people like, you know, look at these characters and think, oh, like Captain America does look a bit generic, like in this game, like
of course
like
he does.
like super generic, like. But it's like that's another problem with the game. It's just like, to me, Square Enix just messed up with the advertising. So while I will get it in a few months' time when it's a bit cheaper for the next generation consoles, it's like they just messed up all over the place. Again, the marketing, the whole, you know, Spider-Man situation not being on Xbox, the whole, you know, not having the day one patch ready to go this year. It was all over the place. And then they put it out in September, where September's a weird month for games. Games come out that look awesome and they sell badly. And some games are bad that sell really good. And it's just like, it just seems like Square Enix doesn't know what they're doing if it isn't Final Fantasy. And to me, it's a shame because I don't like to see developers see the wrong end of the stick. But, you know, we can't have 1 billion live service games every year because nobody has that time.
Yeah.
And Jamie.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and Jamie, the damn it, never mind. But I lost it.
Did I
when I remember,
did
I go
I
back
do
to
that to you, bro?
no, because I was focused on the Gears 5 gameplay. I lost my train of thought.
Oh wow!
I'll come back to you.
I got you then. And Rand, what do you think about this deal? Now, shout out to Talus in the chat.
I remember now.
Now, no, now you gotta wait. Hold on to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
To it. Talus, basically, when games are made, there's a certain amount of money in development, and just like in the movies, like when the movie or the game comes out, they expect so many ticket sales, so many purchases, digital purchases, stuff like that, to make up for the money that it was developed, and then afterwards, any money that they make up after that, whether it is still in game sales or microtransactions or anything in which they can make money to profit after that. So what I'm seeing here with the Avengers is they came $63 million short of the amount of money that they used to develop the game. And yeah, so basically they lost 63 mil because now at this point in time, there's not a lot of people buying it digitally. And when it comes to physical, GameStop is still around, and pre-owned is still a thing. So basically, to sum it up, they lost about $63 million making and putting that game out. So Yobi, what did you have to say to Jamie, and then I will go to Rand on this.
Yeah. So the generic characters they use for the Avengers, dude. I feel like Square Enix, right?
Yeah.
Trying to remember. Yeah, Square Enix. I feel like Square Enix. They could have easily cut the check and got the actors and actresses who played those characters in the movie. Like, easy.
But they would have to there would have to be an agreement then as well. And then when you look at Disney and how they own their property, Disney would want kind of like a hand in the direction of the story, and you can't make this character look like that. You can't make that character.
That is true.
You see what I'm saying? That starts. It does open up a can of worms. And when I say stunt doubles, I'm being humorous on it. I really am. Like at the end of the day, like I don't care what Tony Stark looks like. I care what his armor looks like. You know what I'm saying? I thought the Hulk looked really good. In his true skin, like the kind of like the default skin, I thought they did a good job with him. Like I really don't have a lot of like complaints when it came to the characters, but I just like calling them stunt doubles because it was a big thing when they first showed that game. People were like, "Who are these people?" And it's like, yeah, no, they're just stunt doubles, man. It's not the main line Avengers or the actors of the Avengers. It's the stunt doubles. But
All right. Wait, Rand.
Yes.
So before you go to him, but Rand, so you didn't have no problems with the Series X, right?
What do you mean by problems?
Like hardware issues.
I mean, no hardware issues. I mean, there was some software stuff. Like Quick Resume didn't always work all the time, but I knew about that. And like some of the like Dirt 5 wasn't really ready because they were still patching it.
Right.
Yeah, nothing I would say is a hardware problem. It was more kind of like software stuff.
All right, so let me say this. So yeah, so there was this one YouTuber, like get this shit. There's this one YouTuber. He reported on this video that his Xbox Series X got bricked, right? Now check this shit out. He said he spoke to the Xbox tech team and tried to get it and tried to get everything resolved and fixed. And said, "Oh, they're not gonna fix my Xbox Series X." But here's the thing: they sit him that Series X on the fact that they can trust him, but he left out the fact that he broke embargoes. So Microsoft went and bricked this shit.
Did he really break embargoes though? Because like
he broke him.
Some
He broke
people say
embargoes.
yeah, some people say no. Like I have no idea. Like I didn't dig into that story.
I believe he broke embargoes because the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding because he's not he's not the first person. He's not the first person. It's like when these companies send you systems, they send it on the fact of your audience and trust. If they can trust you, they trust can go a long way. And once you break that trust, you're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, right, Rand. Right.
Simple as that. Leave Rand alone. Rand is 100%.
Are you implying that they intentionally broke the system for breaking embargo?
Yes, that's what I am implying.
They wouldn't do that.
I believe it.
Damn.
If they really had an issue with it, they would have sued him.
Yeah, why not?
But
That's true.
I don't know. I mean, it's hardware. Every sort of hardware dies. I mean, like, especially you're probably looking at 3 to 5% failure rates for any new piece of hardware that comes out.
Hey, I keep it around. I keep it around 1%. All right, 3 to 5. That's
but I mean, I'm just saying, like, every console you make isn't all. At some point, it's going to break, and like the Xbox 360 was like 50%, I believe, which was horrible.
Notorious.
So, like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a system they sent out early, eventually didn't stop working. I mean, it's not too surprising. I don't know why Microsoft wouldn't fix it because it would be under warranty unless the warranty is not applied because they gave it to you for free. I don't really know how that works.
Ooh,
so
I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're not legally obligated to fix it under a warranty because you didn't purchase it. Like, if you bought a system from Best Buy, you have the manufacturer's warranty where Microsoft will fix it for free. Is it a year warranty? I'm not really sure. But then also Best Buy has a warranty too. So is it different if you get one sent for free? Is it not? Are you not under warranty then? I mean, these are questions you'd have to ask, and I don't have the answer to them. But I haven't had any hardware problems. So
awesome.
Nice. Now, Rand, what do you think about the whole Marvels thing? Marvel Avengers losing.
I mean, you saw this coming a mile away, but the game isn't good. Like.
I haven't played it yet. I want to, man, but I wasn't going to.
You have second rate. You have no Avengers movies this year, right? No Marvel movies, right?
Great point.
You have second rate stunt doubles.
It's going to be a minute till we see another Marvel movie, though.
Every single showing of that game leading up to launch was pretty bad, in my opinion. Like, I don't think it really sold the concept of the game. And then you have, the people that played it. You have the horrible word of mouth, basically that. The game doesn't run good. The multiplayer and the end game are very sparse. The campaign's good, but it's not great. It's $60, but it has all this monetization on the back end, like Destiny. And I'm not surprised that the game didn't reach whatever heights they thought and lost them money. And it's probably, you could probably say it might be the biggest bomb of the year. I mean, it has the Avengers IP tied to it, which is one of the biggest IPs in the world right now.
Almost a guarantee right there.
Yeah, you would think almost a guarantee. And the game comes out, and it's not very good. And it's just another another one of those checks in the games as a service, where a game comes out and it's not very good at the start. Anthem, Avengers, like you could say Destiny, Destiny 2.
You watch yourself.
Or I'm just saying at the beginning,
He's
right?
speaking facts, but at the beginning, Destiny was
Division, Division 2. There's not a lot of games as a service games that come out firing in all cylinders day one. Like there's few and far between. Like Apex Legends was pretty good, but even still, they had trouble getting up content immediately. So, it's very difficult to do that type of stuff. But, I don't know. You kind of get what you pay for. I mean, you have a developer.
Did you buy the game?
Yes, I bought it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I only paid half price because I game share, so I only paid $30 for it. So,
smart man.
But it's a developer who's never made multiplayer games before. Crystal Dynamics. Their last two games were Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider. Mm-hmm. So you can tell like their DNA is all over the single player, and that's where the game shines. Is when they're actually allowed to do those set piece moments in the single player campaign, and where the game is very lacking is the multiplayer portion, the end game stuff, the stuff that has nothing to do with the campaign that they intersperse in the campaign, and then is all what the end game's all about. It's horrible. It's very bad, and you can tell it's because it's Crystal Dynamics. They don't have any experience making a game like that, so it's no surprise to me that nobody really, that the game didn't do very well. So sorry to see, Square Enix, you're gonna have to, it's another sign that you can't just put something out and try to spend all the money on marketing and have a good IP and have, gamers will just go out and buy it. You
got to do better.
Yeah, you got to put out a better product.
There you go. I can appreciate that, brother. All right, let's get back to Jamie real quick. That was a great question by the way. It led to some really good discussion as well. So definitely appreciate that. Now, Jamie, we're going back to the medium. I actually remembered what we were talking about before that. This is a monumental day on my channel, by the way, when I can remember. But Jamie, what do you think? Were you hyped for the medium? And what do you think about the delay? It's January 28th. Thank you, Yogi. Yeah. I appreciate that.
I'll keep this short and sweet because I was looking forward to the game. I mean, a whole new horror game with ray tracing for new consoles sounded like awesome times. And the thing is, this was literally a next-gen only game. So I was hyped for it. And the fact that it was like, you played the game and there's like two different worlds running at the same time, it was an interesting prospect. But look, when Cyberpunk moved, that thing had to part like the Red Sea. Because, like, think about it like this, like... Cyberpunk moves to the 10th, the same day as the medium, and at that point, the medium was pretty much like that Homer gif when he goes back into the bush. And here's the thing: I don't think it has anything to do with bugs. They say it's for polish, bit convenient, and the thing is, like, games don't release later in December because. I'm just theorizing. Games don't sell well late in December.
They had to polish the release date away from Cyberpunk. That's exactly what it was.
I do not believe for a second there's polish. They're probably just going to be sitting with their feet up, drinking Bacardi. But like it's just like
playing Cyberpunk and waiting for them, to release their own game.
And here's the thing. I'm excited for the medium, yet when Cyberpunk announced that release date, even I thought, I'm not going to touch the medium that day. So it's like they had to move us. And to me, like, while it's a shame we don't get to play this next-gen horror game this year, it totally makes sense. Like, you can't have a horror game coming out the same day as potentially the biggest game of the year. It just can't be done. So to me, it's a shame, but in air quotes, I'm going... Oh, well, back to Cyberpunk.
Absolutely beautiful, guys. And I do know we did have more topics in the background, but guys, we actually went overtime. And, I thought we were going to go over by like a half hour. Yobi, Rand, I let you know, usually this show is only like an hour and a half long. Sometimes it creeps to 2 hours, but I knew, having this special episode where we're not only getting our first ever special guest, we decided to double dip and try to get two people from the community that we highly respect. And again, I thank you guys for saying yes. It has been an absolute blast talking Xbox with you guys tonight. And of course, I do this with Jamie every week, and I appreciate Jamie so much and his patience and just his thoughts and opinions for the topics that we come up with every week. But it was really good having special guests and having you two guys as the first ever special guests. I think it's gonna go down in history.
Honor, man.
It's gonna go down in history, brother. Now I do want to shout out. I do want to shout out the chat real quick. Shout out to you guys. The conversation was absolutely awesome. There were some issues between my brother Jesse and of course Chris, and Crispy was getting in the middle of this. Now Jesse and Chris, I can see how you guys might poke at each other, but
they love each other. Leave
Sundays for the Xbox, okay? Let's leave Sundays for the Xbox, and let's not try to get at each other in the chat so much. But it has been an absolute great chat. A lot of new faces as well. What's up?
You know the company Codemasters, right?
Yes.
Dude, did you see their track record for video game releases? Dude, in 1991, they released 10 games that year. In 2007, they released 14. And in 2009, they released 10 as well. And they're responsible for the Dizzy series, the Micro Machine, Toka, Colin, McRae Rally, Operation Flashpoint, F1 series, and Dirt series. Bro, their track record releasing games. Bro, put it like this. Every game they ever worked on, they released. They only had one canceled game. That was called Dragon Empires.
I can see you were doing your homework on a topic that we didn't even get to tonight, brother.
Hey, listen. Basically, it's supposed to be an exclusive to Microsoft Windows years ago. It's supposed to be like a fantasy, massively multiplayer online RPG. The main focus was to be a player versus player clan action to take control of 50 cities and 5 empires within its world. That's crazy.
Damn, yo, Rand, do you hear this? He really did. That's all homework right there, man.
He's doing his homework, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yobi, if you're free on Thursday, we're probably going to talk about the Codemaster rumor Thursday on Next.
I will not be free Thursday, man. Okay. I got to go to work.
I was throwing it out there, man, because, obviously you wanted...
No, but check this out, Bot. So, I'm moving in December, right?
Where are you moving to, bro?
Move to Atlanta.
Connecticut?
No, Atlanta.
Connecticut.
Oh my God! Shut up, man.
I'm just here. Yo, Crispy, Yobi's moving to Connecticut with us, man. We're gonna have a trio here.
Listen. So I'm moving to Atlanta in December. So starting next year, my schedule is gonna be open a lot. So if you need me for a next or Series X podcast, let me know. My schedule is going to be so open.
An impromptu live show that I like doing lately.
Yes, George, bro. Just let me know. And also, one more thing before we get out of here. It's a YouTuber named Jake Randall, and he said that I forgot what city he was in, but he says from Target, they had this thing called a video game console launch prep, and it says get ready for the new video game consoles. Blank, and Xbox Series X and Series S to launch next week, different from years past. In-store inventory of consoles are only available to purchase online via pickup and drive-up on launch days. So it's even more important for teams to be prepared to deliver a safe and seamless experience for guests. There may be an opportunity for guests to get consoles shipped to their home from inventory in the FCs. Stores will not be fulfilling those orders via SFS with this launch. Exact launch time will not be shared with guests to ensure site stability, and that's for Target.
That was a lot to digest, but I see what you're getting at with that. That is very interesting, bro. Unfortunately, I am not going to be in the lines for the first kind of the launch of these systems or whatnot. But I know.
Listen, man, I'm gonna be up bright and early Tuesday. And as soon as one of these websites go live for me to place an order, I'm gonna order it, and hopefully I can go and pick it up. So
Nice.
fingers crossed for Tuesday, bro.
Oh, dude, I
Fingers
am.
crossed.
I don't do the whole good luck thing, but I am praying for you, bro. I'll put it that way.
Thank you,
Like,
bro.
no
Thank you,
doubt,
thank
no
you.
doubt, brother. Again, huge shout out to the chat. Again, I saw a lot of new faces in here as well. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, definitely subscribe. Not only is it the home of the Series X podcast, the show you are watching right now goes live every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, but it also is the home of the next podcast, which is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and a lot of impromptu game streams, live gaming news videos, and stuff throughout the week as well. So definitely consider subscribing. Let me, because we're getting into our outro, so let me go to the man with the million. Now, first off, Rand, it has been a long time since we have been on a show together, and I gotta say, man, it is always good talking games with you. Your balanced approach when it comes to games, and not kind of like overdoing one thing and kind of underdoing another. I love what is going on with your channel. I love seeing your channel grow. Again, your channel has one of my absolute favorite podcasts on it. So thank you so much for hanging out with us, man. I hope you had a good time. I hope this won't be the last time either, man, because there was a lot of space in between us being on the same shows together. And I don't want that to happen again, man. I like talking games with you. But it is the outros. You already know the drill. Let people know about your channel, social media, all that good stuff, brother.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always good to chat up with you, Xbot. And of course, all you gotta do is just ask, bro. I'll be there. I'll be there to chat games and Xbox with anybody.
We gotta play Halo again, though.
I'm pretty done with Halo 5, and we'll play Halo Infinite when that comes out.
Well, I got into the Master Chief Collection again just recently. No,
yeah, that's getting updated. I don't know. I'm all about Halo Infinite at this point. Like I don't know. I mean, Halo 2 and Halo 3 are great, but they're so old at this point, you know what I mean? So it's all Halo Infinite for me. So, thanks for having me on. It's always great to talk to you and Jamie and Yobi. You can check out my channel, youtube.com/RandallThor19. All the relevant, social media stuff is there. So check it out if you want to.
Beautiful, beautiful, brother. And moving on to my brother Yobi, which if you haven't followed my channel, I will let you know one thing about Yobi. Yobi did something for me that was incredibly generous one time. Like, I have an Xbox One X, and I only had
Bot loves to tell the story.
I only
he's never gonna let the story
I
back.
only had a 1080p television, and I used to get hammered on podcasts because I used to be like, yo, this system is so awesome. And they're like, but you're on 1080p. I was like, yeah, but it's got super sampling, so it's the best 1080p I can get. And Yobi out there in the community, he's like, man, I'm not having this. And he sent me a
dude.
4K...
They used to shit on you every podcast,
but I was enjoying my games though. Like, and he said, I am not having this. And this dude, no lie, sent me a 4K television complete with high dynamic range color. And Yobi, you have changed my gaming world ever since, because it's not the 4K really. It's that high dynamic range color, man. That like games like Forza Horizon and stuff like that, seeing those colors pop. When Forza Horizon, when the seasons come around and it goes to fall, oh my goodness,
that shit looks insane.
So, again, you are a man of the community. You put out videos trying to help, inspire people to have a positive day, stuff like that on Twitter. You are out there for the people, brother, and I am really glad that you were on the first episode with special guests of the Series X podcast. Why don't you let people know where they can follow you to get those inspirational videos, the jokes you crack, stuff like that, and where they can see, how much of a part of the community you are. So your social media, stuff like that, bro.
Before I do that, I just want to thank Randall Thor. See, the thing about Randall Thor, aka the man with a million, that's a fact. I respect this man because he is humble. And when I say humble to the fact that it's like no matter how big his channel gets and how much the upper echelons he evolves to, he stays humble, and that's one thing, Randolph, I respect you about, man. I really respect you about that.
Well, thank you.
Of course. And guys, if you can, Jamie, shout out to my N7 brother.
Yo.
I'm gonna say this every time we get a chance to talk. I will never let fear compromise who I am.
Ooh.
But if you don't know, that's from Mass Effect.
No, I like that, man. I've been going through this whole thing about like fear and stuff like that, and not having fear moving forward. So I can dig
Right.
those words right now, bro.
My man. But yeah, guys, you can follow me at Dragonheart Yobi on Twitter.
And
D
Twitch,
Heart
right?
Yobi. Yeah, no, Dragonheart Yobi at Twitter. The letter D Heart Yobi on Xbox Live. On Dragonheart Yobi at Instagram. That's my nerd Instagram. I don't be updating a lot, but I will get to it whenever I can. Man, guys, I'm called Mr. Peace, Love, Life for a reason, and people gotta understand. I don't. When I speak from my heart and I give things from my heart, I don't do that for anything in return. I'm just doing my part in this fucked up world because I want to bring some type of light to the darkness that we live in. So if I can do that, that eases my soul a bit. So for me to you guys, thank you.
Nice, brother. And we're gonna go to my partner in crime, and again, I appreciate every day that this dude decides to deal with me and doing a show on YouTube. It is not an easy thing to undertake. You know, the elusive gamer, aka Jamie Moran, brother. We are getting close to episode 10. Seeing this show grow, seeing people really get into what this show is about, and man, dude, having the ability to do it with you, man, a lot of respect to you, brother, and dealing with me, and you gotta let people know you got a YouTube channel. I swear, this channel needs to grow, man, because the videos you put out are awesome, man. Your opinions well grounded. Even when you talk about Mass Effect, like, you're still grounded when you talk about your like favorite franchise, man. You let people know, about your YouTube channel, and of course the Jamie Moran on Twitter that everybody loves as well.
Cheers, man. I mean, it's always a pleasure, and it's awesome to speak to Yobi and Rand again. I haven't spoken to Rand in a while. Yobi, you've always been a positive guy on Twitter, which is something I hope we see more of in the future. And Rand, like, your channel's blown up over the past year or so, and you're still humble, which is awesome, which I can always appreciate because we don't have enough of that in the world. And I mean, my YouTube, it's The Elusive Gamer, where I talk about Xbox stuff. And, hopefully with the Xbox Series X coming out this week, it'll actually arrive, and I'll be able to get some content out about it, like an unboxing and whatever. But
Ooh, please do an unboxing. Please do an unboxing.
Hopefully that's the plan. But more Xbox stuff coming, and my Twitter is Jamie Man UK, where it's just gaming and jokes.
That's right.
Nice, guys. And shout out to everybody. You were a part of history today. Our first ever special guest on the Series X podcast. If you haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up button. Let people know where you were on a Sunday night as we made history with Rand Althor, Yobi Dren, aka Dragonheart Yobi, and everybody in the chat. Yo, guys, thank you so much for the support. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe. But
smash that like button.
Smash it, man.
Smash it.
But I'm gonna end the show the way I always do, guys. Have a great night, and remember to keep it gaming and keep it Xbox. Later, everybody.
Peace, love, life. Peace.
Peace.